to Catalyst Conversations.
What's happening, family? Welcome to Catalyst Convo, Better Man Money Edition. I'm Pastor Ted Winsley. You can call me Ted. You can call me Chaplain. Just make sure you call me. Hey, guys, we have some amazing guests. As I said, that this is the Better Man edition for Catalyst Conversation, and we're calling it the Money Edition. I've got some amazing men, some amazing guests that are with us, and we're going to talk about money. I got your attention already. Next to me is Kevin Peterson, 40 years, bank president for Haddon Savings. That's my bank. 40 years in the banking industry. And we also have Jason Avant, NFL retiree and Eagles legend. Come on, somebody. Also, many people don't know, and many of you should, he is an entrepreneur in his own right. 8 years in the launch.
Launch Trampoline Park.
Launch Trampoline Park. So, guys, this is really, really good. First of all, I just want to let's hear from our guests real fast. Kevin, it is amazing and a pleasure for you to be with us on Catalyst Conversation. And once again, remind everybody, we are getting ready, and I'm going to give it back to you. We're getting ready for our Better Man Men's Conference. What do we call it? Better Man 24, October 26th. Kev, I think you're going to be there. Can I call you Kev?
I am going to be
Kevin,
there.
You're going to be there.
Yes.
Kevin and Haddon Savings is actually one of our key sponsors. So we are excited. That means they gave us some money. And also we're going to have Jason Avant with other NFL players. You're coming, aren't you?
Yeah, I got to
Amen.
come.
I got you.
There
You got to come. Amen.
Great.
So
We're off to a great start.
So Kev, I'm so glad that you're here.
And we've been working with Family Church since 18 or 19.
Let's go.
And we've been very happy to have
18,
them.
19.
Yeah, very happy to have them as a partner, and it's been a pleasure. Been a pleasure knowing Pastor Ted and Pastor Dawn.
Yeah.
And hopefully many years forward.
Let's go. You gave us some money today. Come on. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. Well, we loaned you some money today.
We had to be correct. He didn't give us.
We loaned you some money
Head
today.
Savings board is like, what? No, you loaned us. I had to sign for
But
it.
we did make a donation
did.
for the Better Man Conference.
Absolutely.
And I promised to come last year, and I didn't make it, but I will be there with several other people from the bank this year.
We are excited about that. And we've got Jason Avant. Jason, thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be sitting next to you guys. I've been knowing you for a long time. It's almost 20 years now.
Yes, it is. I'm getting
almost,
older.
yeah. So he's been a chaplain for the Philadelphia Eagles, and I remember, being, his foot soldier.
Yes,
Bible study. Come on, Bible study.
You are a leader. Yeah, absolutely.
So many years, and you imparting so many words of wisdom. So it's a pleasure to be here. Like Pastor Ted said, I ran and operated Launch Trampoline Park, 3 stores. And still do a lot of stuff in media, sideline reporter, University of Michigan.
I
a lot
meant
of
to
different
say that.
things. Yeah.
Give us all your accolades.
Oh, no accolades, yeah. But I work for NBC Sports, CBS, doing radio and television.
Wow.
And I got my hand in a lot of stuff.
So good. And you're also looking for more entrepreneurial ventures.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely. I always run a business. Yeah, always.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great year to be a Michigan alum, huh?
Yeah, it's this. I actually just got off a podcast about my top 10 plays for the season. And it's a great thing.
Yeah. Nice.
And I get a ring. Are you going
to get a ring? Let's go.
I get a ring, yeah. So it's
I like that.
Yeah, it's a blessing.
Yeah. You got your hand and stuff.
Yeah, your hand
you
and
get rings.
Stuff. Yeah, there you go.
I'm believing for another ring, too.
I have to say, when
I met
ring. Pastor Ted, that was the first thing we saw.
Yeah.
Was the Super Bowl
The Super Bowl ring.
First thing we saw.
Absolutely. Well, guys, as you know, our audience, it's open to everybody, but we're speaking to men. And as you know, as chaplain and pastor, I got to give you at least a half a scripture. All right. So in Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 19, I'm only gonna share the last part of the scripture. Kevin, you'll enjoy this. It says, "But money answereth all things." So let's get into this, guys. So we're talking about money. The Bible, what we believe in, actually talks about that money has a role in our lives. Of course, we know money, it doesn't say money is the answer. It says that money answers things. So I wanted to have a discussion for the next 15, 20 minutes, just speaking to men in general. And I want to throw this out to the two of you, really kind of understanding that money does. It's a tool. It answers things. It also could be a vice, if it's not understood. So I wanted to ask the two of you kind of, it's two layered. And that is, here's the question from your perspectives. What are the top three things that men should know as it relates to building a legacy for their family, and also from the perspective of desiring to create outside of the family or within the family, desiring to create the dream. Maybe it's the business or the goal. So from that two perspectives. So let's talk about money and family, and then let's talk about money and business, or achieving goals or dreams with money. What would you, we'll start with Kevin. Maybe give us our first one, and then we could go, Jason, and your mindset. Let's deal with a man and his money as it relates to his family. What would you say is like the top thing that a man should know as it relates to money and family?
Well, it's, in my mind, it's very simple.
Yeah.
But as young as you can, at any age, start setting a little bit of money aside.
Okay.
Because, I was looking in some of the different websites, and they say 60% of adults don't have a retirement account.
Yeah.
And, I would be worried, if I got to, I'm already old, but I would be worried if I got the retirement age.
No, you're not, Kevin. Let me stop you. I wasn't supposed to let you get that off. Kevin, you're not old. All right, keep going.
And didn't have anything
Yes.
saved up. And
Sure.
I completely understand that everybody has a lot of expenses,
Yeah.
a lot of things they have to pay for, but you always have to set a little bit aside.
Yeah.
I will say, when I was 20, my father said, "Why don't you get one of these IRA accounts? They're a really good idea." And my thought at the time was, that's insane.
Yeah.
Retirement's a million years away. Why are you telling me that?
Sure.
But here I sit now at 65, and it's like it went by like a flash.
Yeah.
And so you really, as early as possible, you want to.
So let's talk about that.
Some money.
And then I want to pull you into this, Jason, and then you can give us yours. But so the first thing you're saying that men need to have as it relates to money is discipline.
Yes. And it's very hard.
It's to be disciplined with your money.
And then after you have a family, if your family, they're going to take a lot of your money.
So I have
makes it harder.
I have a 26-year-old. This is actually happening right now. He's starting his career. He's a police officer at Pennsauken Police Department.
Fantastic.
Shout out Theo. And we had this discussion. There are other officers that go to the church here, and they were telling Theo exactly what you said. Hey, there's a good program that they have here, a matching program. Max it out. And they said, and look, by the time you retire, you'll have $1 million if you just put this amount right now. And then Theo looked at the amount, like 300. It's 300. I was like, look here, man. He said $300. Well, I need $300 for this. It probably Jordans or whatever. This or this and this. And so the first thing I had to deal with him as we were talking, and we could jump into Jason, is. And I think this is a good place for you to come in, is dealing with appetites, versus necessities. Like what is it that you actually feel like that you need versus what you want,
Right.
In order to begin to create the mindset of saving? Thoughts?
My thought would be this: is that the scripture says that the love of money, not money,
It's good.
the love of money
Is the root.
is the root of all evil.
Yeah.
So I take it with this thought process when I'm dealing with money. You have to get to a point in your life where distractions because the things that you love is going to empty your pockets. Things that you love
So
is
good.
going to empty your pockets.
Yeah.
So if you love material, that's where your money's going to be spent. If you love your family, that's where your money's going to be spent. You love security, that's where your money's going to be spent. So I don't think that you can have a healthy relationship with money unless you have got over your own devices. So that's one.
It's good.
And then yes, set money aside.
So can we stay there just for a quick second? Because you also have a very, let's not skirt over that. You played in the NFL for 11 years, where people get a lot of money, and the statistic is that oftentimes years after playing, they don't have a lot of money left.
3 years.
So how did you, like what you just said was very powerful, and I think it goes back to the practicality of, Kevin, what you brought in, which was saving or discipline. What's the first, or how do you practically deal with my love of things, so that I can plan for or save for the things I say I love?
Well, one, it'll be God. Two, it'll be, reading and trying to, better yourself.
Yes.
In whatever aspect that may come. But just think about all the things that we spend money on as men.
Yeah.
Usually the number one thing that we're geared toward is trying to impress a woman at some point.
Okay.
Right? We have
So good.
We're going to get a car.
That's number one.
Get something, and usually those things are to pull or reel someone in.
Yeah.
Right? So we value that so highly.
So good.
That we don't, take the time out to deal with that issue.
So here's what I really hear you saying is it really has to do with our knowing who we are.
Yeah.
Our own identity, having our identity in check. Because, and I think this is something that people say a lot, because they say that money changes you. Well, that's actually not true. I say this a lot at church. Money doesn't change you. Money reveals you.
It just reveals.
Because some of us are too broke to show you who I really am. So that's what happens when people get money. We find out, oh, you're greedy, oh, you're selfish, or you're nasty, because now you have enough to really show. All right, guys, we want to stop. This is a good place before we go into number two. Let's hear a word. We got sponsors now, Kev. Let's hear a word from our sponsor.
Did you know that your business is as unique as your fingerprint? Haddon Savings understands your business's unique financial needs and is here to help with a wide range of SBA loans and assistance. We also offer commercial real estate loans to leverage your equity. Use it to build, buy, refinance, expand, or remodel your business. Call us today to get individualized financial services tailored to fit your needs. Haddon Savings Bank, creating banking relationships since 1905.
There's no greater reward than seeing someone through a difficult process and helping them to what often becomes their second chance. Real people with real problems don't choose law firms, they choose lawyers.
For me, the best attorney for the situation was needed. If you're sincere about your freedom, I recommend you hire Tamika McCoy.
For over 50 years, Nuss Construction has focused on family first and giving back to our community. That's why we are proud to support Family Matters Daycare in the Better Man 24 Conference. If you are in South Jersey, consider us if you need a new bathroom, kitchen, or an addition to your existing home. Protecting your family and making them more comfortable is one of our key focus points. Call today for a free consultation and discover the Nuss Construction Company difference.
So we ended before our commercial on a really cool place. I want to just hop back into that before we go back to our number two thought process. And that was, the question that was asked was, what's the number one thing that a man needs to understand as it relates to money, for his dreams, his family? And Kevin, you brought in the mindset of savings, which then now came into the mindset of having a discipline and being able to pinpoint, because what did you say, Jason? You said that we spend our money on what? On
the things that we love.
Yeah,
we spend our money on things that we love, and the things that we want.
Yes.
And until we get a check of that, until we take inventory of our heart, we have no chance to actually do the things that Kevin is talking about, which is save, and which is think about things outside of our flesh.
Yeah.
and that's the truth, right? Because I see, and it's no slight against people,
Yeah.
but a lot of times we would rather have a large car payment rather than, owning a house.
Then a savings. Yeah.
Or savings,
Yeah.
or we rather have the Mercedes than our kids having a 529 college fund.
Yeah.
An interesting thing is in a lot of very poor countries, people save 10, 20% of their money because they're afraid that they're going to starve if they don't put money aside.
Interesting.
And in this country, if you said put aside 10% of your money, most people would say, how can I do that?
Wow.
I need to spend it on this and that and the
Yeah.
other thing. But if you really want to really, in the end, take care of yourself and take care of your family, you got to think about doing it.
So I'm gonna throw that back to you. So it sounds like, again, first you have to have a reality check. So you just said something that was powerful, and that is that in countries where they don't have anything, they save more than countries where we have everything. Why? Because the whole mindset or cultural belief system is different. And so that's what I heard you saying, Jason, and that was when you talked about that we spend our money on what we love. And then, of course, I think sometimes when you start spending money, you find out they don't love you. So what would you say was kind of like the biggest? So let me ask you this: were you raised with this mindset that you currently have now? And what was the reality? If not, what was the reality check that you had that caused you to begin to have the discipline to say, man, what the goals and the desires of the things that I envision are better for me to invest in than the stuff that I want that's going to be here today and gone tomorrow.
Well, I grew up very, tough. I'm a South Side Chicago kid.
Come on. Shout out South Side of Chicago.
Yeah, so we didn't have much
Okay.
growing up, and through discipline, hard work, prayer, I had a gift, which was sports, and I was able to use that to go to the University of Michigan, and to be able to graduate from there. But that I would say maybe my rookie year kind of taught me a bunch.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't many classes for it, but I remember my signing bonus being, $400,000 or something like that, and then you had your salary for the
You said
year.
that real smooth, like that
Yeah,
wasn't
it was
a lot
like
of money.
but that's back in the
That's
day.
a lot of
Back in the
money.
days. But
Yeah,
my
that's
my
awesome.
signing bonus was that much. Or
Yeah.
So, and but I didn't understand taxes. I didn't understand that we would be taxed at 39%.
Interesting.
And I didn't understand that the city would take, and the state would take, and that was 9%. And then you had an agent of 3%, and then you got to pay tithes. So at the end of the time, you're looking at, you're probably living on 33, 34, 35% of your money, depending on your belief system,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So I didn't understand that. So
good.
me learning to say no and understand how money work, it took a year for me to
So
really
good.
get into that. Because
Yeah.
at the end of my first year, I look into my bank account because I still have my signing bonus.
Right.
But the money that I played for that year, my actual salary for the year, I had like $15,000 left because I was telling my family, yes.
Yes.
I want you to have this, and I want you to have that, and I want you to do this, and I want you to do that.
Yeah.
And it took it took that lesson that year for me to realize that, hey, money is not what it looks like.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you run a business, everyone talks about their gross number in business for some reason.
Right. It's not real.
Yeah.
That was one of my friends because that's the biggest
Oh my
number.
God.
That's the biggest number.
That's so good.
Every time you get someone's deck, or you get someone's business plan, or you get someone's whatever.
Wow.
It's always their gross number. And I go to New York and I talk to people, and they, our business, we're bringing in $100 million. No, how much of that do you take home?
Yes.
How much of it is expensive?
Tiny little percentage.
Right.
A tiny percentage. At the end of the day, you have to realize that all the things that are coming,
Yeah.
that are expenses.
Yeah.
And, so.
There's a lot of them.
So it also sounds like if you're going to there's a natural and a spiritual component, or external and internal component. If you're going to save, if you're going to be disciplined, to be able to have money for your family and your dreams, that number one, let's deal with the internal one. You have to have the internal check of what's going on the inside of you.
Yeah.
Is money going to be, I think we talked about before, is money going to be a tool, or is money going to become a vice because you're trying to use money to fulfill a void? And then what I also heard the other part too is that the external one is what are the rules? You know what I mean? Like you said, with taxes and these type of things. What are the rules that govern money? Because you could have the internal part, right, and just be very naive, to how the game works and get messed up. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay.
And we're talking about people from poor countries, but
Yeah.
I got a little bit of that as a kid because my parents had been through the Depression.
Yeah.
Now
Wow.
your dad had been through the Depression.
My dad was born in 1926. When was the Depression?
29.
Yeah, in the 30s.
Yeah, he was in it.
The 30s.
Yeah.
Mine was 27.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they never forgot that.
Yeah.
It's like maybe,
Which is
if you don't have any money,
Yeah.
maybe there's nobody to bail you out.
Which I think goes back to the whole, having the internal discipline. And like I think you and I were talking about how our parents, and I remember very, very, vividly how even when we talk about credit and debt, my parents would say, hey, if you can't pay for it at the end of the month, don't put it on the card. Well, what if you need to if you're trying to start a business, And so I even know, like, even as a pastor, we were willing to because we were trusting God, because we realized that even debt and getting loans, that you still have to have a vision and a plan, but you also have to have a belief system that there'll be a return. Or where there are other pastors say, well, we're not gonna take that. We're not going to take a loan because we can't afford to pay it back. And so again, that whole mindset.
And it's kind of what are you going to do with it?
Yeah.
And let's face it, and as somebody who works in a bank, there's no way I'm going to sit here and say borrowing money's a terrible thing.
Right.
I'm not going to say that to you.
Yeah.
But very few people would buy houses
Yeah.
if they couldn't borrow the money for it. Very few people would start businesses
Yeah.
if they couldn't borrow the money for it. It's just, what do you do with it?
Yeah.
And do you have a good plan? And again, are you disciplined? And usually if you're borrowing money from a bank to start a business, they're going to check if you have a plan.
Correct.
And if it looks as if you
Can
be
pay it
able
back.
to pay it back.
Right. Very good.
We're always looking at that.
Yeah, you keep coming.
We're always looking at that. Yeah.
I would say that even when it comes to loans or whatever it is, the
Yes.
plan and the vision is the most important, right?
So good.
But also, you have to understand the fine print, because when you sign something, you better know
good, Jason.
which ways this loan can default.
Yes.
And the parameters, because when you're dealing with a bank or you're dealing with any institution,
Sure.
when it comes to money of any amount that you owe,
Yes.
they're going to make sure that they get their money out
Absolutely.
at some point. So you have to make sure that it's
good.
your job to do the due diligence. If you have to put collateral down, what does that mean for my family?
Yeah.
If I had to put my house up, does my wife approve of that? Like, those are things that
good.
you have to research and know.
Yeah, I know.
There's
Just
something in a contract where they say it was right there in black
Exactly.
and white.
Yeah.
You had a chance to read it.
I know many churches where that happens, especially with churches. That's what I so appreciate you guys. But where what is it? It's a balloon. It's a balloon payment, and after a certain amount of time, then they're asking for all their money, or you need to get out of here.
Yeah.
So back to the point, and so often I hear pastors say that, or people in business. Oh, I didn't know. Yeah. So
Well, there's one thing I would say is, the stereotype is that from banks, we're just dying to
Right,
see
to
people
throw people out.
default.
No.
And we're not. We want to work with you
Absolutely.
because to give an example, we don't want this building.
right.
We want you to pay us.
Yes. Amen.
And it's the case with you have a car. They don't want to repossess your car.
Right.
They want the money.
Sure.
Yeah.
So here we go, guys. Because of time, I said 3. I didn't know it was going to be so rich. So we're going to do 2. All right. Okay. So you did the first one, and the first one was you were just talking about the fact that the first thing that a man needs to know as relates to family, finances, family, and his dream is number one, have a savings. And then we kind of got into the whole mindset. Well, okay, well then in order to have savings, you got to have a discipline. And in order to do that, you also have knowledge of how the game works. So I'm going to ask you, Jason, what would you say would be either your number 1 or the number 2 for the house here, talking to the men, what would you say as it relates to financial literacy fulfilling their dreams, preparing for their family, what would you say would be the second thing that a man should know?
I would always say that to be educated, make sure that you're reading, but also never put your eggs in one basket when it comes to finance.
That sounds like my mama used to tell me.
Yeah, no, it's the truth. It's the truth. It's the truth because the more like there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that have their dream, and that dream could be the NFL. It could be a movie star. It could be a doctor. It could be a lawyer. It could be whatever. You always want to better yourself, and you got to figure out ways to make money, to have a revenue stream.
Can you break
that's
that
what you
down
were
for
talking.
me?
Yeah.
Can you? Because like I said, for our audience, I didn't. I don't want them to miss that because I think it's powerful. Never put all of your eggs in one basket. From a practical perspective, what does that mean?
Like, so for an example, like I ran and owned launch trampoline park, 3 stores, right? That doesn't stop me from doing radio and television.
Very good.
I can figure that out because I could use that money to put in a money market account, put in the stock market, or put in some mutual fund that's going to get me 9 to 10% historically over.
Is this called diversification?
Yeah, whatever it is, right? Putting money away in order to have an extra income, and at the end of the year, you say you get to a point where you got $100,000 in that account. Yeah. And now that grows at 10%. Now that's $10,000 that I got, or extra $800 a month that I'm using, frivolously. That's outside of that 100,000, right? So what I mean by that is that it's okay to have a hustle. It's okay to think to dream big. It's okay, but have something stable too.
Nice. Yeah, that's
that's
really
That's a great idea.
That's really because again, I think because we're talking to men, I think ladies who are listening over their shoulders are just thanked you, Jason, because I think that's also sometimes why we could have a pie in the sky. I'm going big, but then not also have not also part of the pie in the sky is the stability that goes along with the this has to work. Yeah.
No, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
It's dangerous. And the reason I say it's dangerous, everyone wants their dreams to be realized.
Yes.
We all do. We want our dreams to be realized. But remember, if you have a family in particular, it's your job to make sure that they eat. It's your job to make sure that they're fine in the future. So therefore, I have to do what I have to do in order to make it stable. Yeah. And then I can do in my spare time whatever it is I dream about. Right? If I have that dream of photography or whatever it is, I can do that in my spare time. But I need something stable for my family.
So good. So good. Kevin, your thoughts on that?
I think that's a great idea because people might look at you and say, I want to do exactly what he did.
Right.
But you so tremendously beat the odds in being an NFL player that there's a very small percentage of kids who play football who get that chance. And so a lot of people want to do it, but if that doesn't work out, you've got to have something else that you can think about.
I love that
making a living
because it is so connected to something. Of course, everybody understands in football, but don't realize it's part of life, and it's called seasons. And that's the conversation I have with the players oftentimes. Like, hey, first of all, I say this isn't real, and then number two, this is just a season. It's not your life. So I love what you're saying, Jason, because oftentimes what happens, we'll put all of our eggs in one basket, and then COVID happens. Then life change happens. There's an illness, there's a sickness. You can't do what you thought you could do, but you put everything into this plan. And
you made a great point because even though becoming a professional athlete, that worked out great for you, you're still retired in your 30s.
At 30.
Yeah. And so you're just too young a man to just say, okay, I'm going to be retired.
Yeah.
You got a lot of other things to do.
Yeah.
So you're right. It's a season in your life.
Yeah.
And hopefully there will be a lot more.
Gentlemen, as you're listening, do me a favor, give me some emojis, put some comments in. Is this making sense to you? Even share your own personal testimonies as to how what we're saying has affected you. Hey guys, we're about to wrap this thing up, but before we do that, let's get one more word. Come on, we got a sponsor. Let's get one more word from our sponsors.
Did you know that your business is as unique as your fingerprint? Haddon Savings understands your business's unique financial needs and is here to help with a wide range of SBA loans and assistance. We also offer commercial real estate loans to leverage your equity. Use it to build, buy, refinance, expand, or remodel your business. Call us today to get individualized financial services tailored to fit your needs. Haddon Savings Bank, creating banking relationships since 1905.
In Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, there's a slightly slower pace of living. That's also where you'll find the home of Stoltz Fish Structures, where quality, integrity, and world-class customer service are more than just a way to do business. It's a way of life. From our humble beginning over 40 years ago in a small building, to the modern 65,000 square foot facility of today, we've remained at the forefront of our industry. Everything from gazebos and sheds to garages and pergolas, and everything in between.
For over 50 years, Nuss Construction has focused on family first and giving back to our community. That's why we are proud to support Family Matters Daycare in the Better Man 24 Conference. If you are in South Jersey, consider us if you need a new bathroom, kitchen, or an addition to your existing home. Protecting your family and making them more comfortable is one of our key focus points. Call today for a free consultation and discover the Nuss Construction Company difference.
Hey guys, we're about to wrap this up. I pray that you're being blessed, that you're really getting, I'm getting a lot out of this. This is so amazing. Once again, we're reminding everybody, meet all of us. Kev, you're going to be with us. Jason, you're going to be with us at the Better Man Men's Conference, Better Man 24. Our theme this year is dreams and nightmares. Okay, so that's why today we're talking about the money edition, but this all connects. All right, guys, so as we close, I just want to just hear everybody's just final thought. If you had an opportunity to sit in front of and to speak to a man, whether he's beginning life or he's at the finish line, I will say it that way, in his life, what would be your final thoughts, final encouragement or wisdom to that man? Kevin?
Well, I don't want to steal from Jason, but it's great to have dreams.
Hey, watch this. It's called borrowing.
Okay.
Yeah.
You understand that.
It's great to have a dream, and it's great to follow your dreams, but it's always good to have a bit of a backup plan.
Yeah.
And to have a plan for what you're going to do if your dream works out, and what you're going to do if maybe it doesn't.
Yeah.
So because there's you're going to need to work for a long time probably, and save money, and if you're lucky enough to have a family, you have to plan for it.
So good. How about you, Jason?
I would just say, I would tell any young person that they're not alone. And guess what? If you ask questions, you'll get answers. You know what? I have a little brother. His name is Jamar. He's in New York City. He's a real estate developer in New York City.
Hey, Jamar.
And one of the only minority real estate development companies in New York City.
Okay.
And when I'm out, he's embarrassing sometimes.
Okay.
Because we could be in a meeting with a billionaire for some reason, and he's like, "Dude, just come along."
Yeah.
And he just asks stuff, and then I'm at the end of it, I don't say anything, but my heart is tight. I'm tight. I'm tight. I'm tight. I'm like, "Do you really ask this man?" I'm tight.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
Yeah.
he's like, "Dude, you gotta fix your face." I'm like, "Why would you ask him that?" He's like, "Listen, if you don't ask, you won't get."
So good.
And I think
good.
I think that's a saying that I always go with, and it's not about asking people for money.
Sure.
More so as it is that you can ask for help, because there's a lot of people that are willing to help you.
So good.
So if you don't know something, get around someone in your particular field and ask questions. Be a fly on the wall.
Yeah.
Work for free when it comes to internships or whatever it is, so you can get your foot in the door, so you can have understanding.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that I would give advice for. Make sure you ask as many questions, be as educated as you can, pertain to your topic of study.
That's it, guys. I pray that you were not only entertained but educated. As you know, we talked about dreams and nightmares, but this is the money edition. Understanding that even the Bible tells us that money is not the answer, but money can answer. and so I just want to thank Kevin. Thank you for being a part
Great
of this.
being here.
Glad you're going to be with us in October. Jason, again, much love. Thank you for spending time with us. Hey guys, see us October 26th for the Better Man Men's Conference. We got such an amazing lineup. You're going to be enriched, and because of it, you're going to be a better man. All right, that's it, guys, for Catalyst Convo. See you soon.
You called out my name.
Better Man Conference.
When change takes place, there should be a sign. When things change, we can see it. We can feel it. We get to experience it. Is this making any sense?
You cannot hear the word and not be a doer of the word and still keep the old you alive. But the reason why we're not doers of the word, because there is a version of us we not ready to kill yet.
So for those who are going through right now, there's hope. You do have hope. There is something on the other side of this. Don't get caught up where you are. Don't stay where you are. Keep moving.
Men, are you ready to transform your life and become the better man you've always wanted to be? Join us on October 26th for the Betterman Conference 24. We are bringing you an incredible lineup of speakers, including Pastor Ted Winsley, Apostle Brandon Clack, and NFL legend Brian Dawkins. And that's not all. Special guests Irving Fryer, Thomas Toupee, Bobby Williams, Ike Reese, Jason Avant, and more will be a part of our day workshops. Don't miss out on the early bird special. Get your tickets for just $75 until August 31st. After that, tickets are $85, food is included. Invest in yourself and secure your spot today. Betterman Conference 24, where men come together to grow, connect, and become the best version of themselves. Visit our website now to get your tickets. Be there. Be better. Betterman 24.